Hooray! It is all done. Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Circle City. Hope you guys are having a good day. So I went ahead and took a bunch of time chopping down mushrooms. Oh, hi kitty. And just ground it out, and I got it all down. So I am super duper happy that that is done. And it also did not take me near as much as I thought it would to complete. So it really only took like another 10 stacks and some change, but that's okay because now I have plenty of extra mushroom stems to work with in the future. I'm going to get all this cleaned up, and then we're going to talk about a very big project that's coming up. So in the course of my chopping down mushrooms, it became very apparent to me just how inadequate my gigantic darkroom spawner really is. Because I was spending about a half an hour chopping down mushrooms, and then I would come up here to heal my axe when it got to yellow. Also, my controller is breaking, so I'm probably going to have to get another one. So every now and then it just kind of like starts floating upward. So I'll do my best to keep that under control. But anyway, I mean, right now it appears to be working, fantastic. But still... but basically... I was spending a half an hour chopping down mushrooms, and then I would come up here when my axe turned yellow to heal it, and I was spending about another half an hour of time just, trying to mend my axes. So it's not really great to have to waste like that much time just waiting for mobs to drop down so that I can heal my weapons. So now they're all dropping in, of course. Of course, whenever I want to, showcase how bad something in my world is, it starts to work, okay. But I keep going, we're going to end up having a heck of a lag. Yeah. So this is what I'm talking about. This is not, what I want to do, which is just sit here and wait, 10 and 15 seconds for, like, one mob to drop. So this has been a problem in my world for, since I built the thing. And since I had taken, I don't know, close to a month to put this thing in, I didn't really want to take the time necessary to fix it. So I've just kind of ignored it and said, oh, it's good enough. But it's really not, and it's super annoying to have to waste, so much time. Especially after I go mining, and I could be up here for like an hour. And that's no fun. So I have discovered two massive problems with my whole situation. And one of them is the fact that I did not leave enough space in between my spawning platforms for spiders to drop down. The other problem is that it's so massive that if a mob drops down into the water on the edge of this, it takes it about, 25 to 30 seconds just to get to the middle of this. And just to show you how random my spider drops are, I mean, this is the rotten flesh that I've gotten. And I have traded quite a bit of this stuff already. Bones I've used in projects. Arrows are just going to keep collecting. Gunpowder. And then the next one is string. So not even like 2 rows. And these are the spider eyes. And then these are just random junk chests. So I'm going to get out of here And we're going to go into my creative copy so that I can go over the plans of how we're going to fix this. All right, so here we are outside. And as we come in, you can see all of my spawning platforms. So I did put some torches in down here just for now so that you guys can, kind of see what's going on. Yeah, so these are all of my platforms. And you can see, when we're at a certain distance, you can see the mobs dropping and everything's great and looks dandy. I don't have any spiders up here yet. But the problem is that these being only 2 places apart with a trapdoor on either side, the spiders just walk across them. And on occasion, they will actually fall down in between, but generally not so much. Generally, they just walk around and walk around and walk around. Ideally, that would mean coming in and adjusting every single one of these platforms and moving them so that there's 3 spaces in between. But I think that's a bit ridiculous. So I've put little holes here on the sides of the platforms that I think would work to adjust. And basically that means just coming in and narrowing like this platform down to 1. And then this would be a space where when the spiders come through, they can drop down. So if I adjust just these 4, then hopefully that'll be enough space so when they start running, that'll give them room to drop down and they won't just get stuck up here and destroy everything else. See here, there's a spider. So if we watch him for a minute. Actually, let me come down on this side. Yeah, so he's just gonna hop around and be a jerk face and walk straight over that and not fall down. But yeah, so basically when I get so many spiders up here spawned in and just running around, it keeps other mobs from spawning in. And then the whole system just gets like super duper slow. So that's how I intend to solve that problem. The other thing is that if we come all the way down, so if we come all the way down to the bottom, this is where all the water flow is. So that when the mobs come in, the water pushes them down. But as you can see, it's really slow. Like, and I knew that was going to be slow. But I was kind of hoping that the amount of mobs that would spawn in would kind of make up for the amount of time that it took for, them to move. So we can see like this creeper fell all the way over on the edge there. So. And I previously counted it, and it takes it about 25 seconds to get all the way into the middle. And that's kind of like a big wait. So if I estimate that it takes about, for every layer of water, every tier of water, about 5 seconds for it to push it through every tier. And then sometimes they'll get stuck up on, and sometimes they get a little bit hung up on the fence gates here, which I'm not that concerned about because eventually that just gets sorted out and that's fine. So the other thing that I'm thinking about is just downsizing the whole thing. So taking the whole thing in like these 16 spaces. The thing is that I'm still not 100% sure that that's what I want to do. So regardless of that, I came in here and I did a little bit of testing to see how I would even want to go about even making this modification. And what I decided that I would like to do is come in, you know, on the bottom layer. Now I knocked this one out before, but basically the idea would be to come up in the middle on scaffolding, go to the top one, and then be standing here and knock everything out, and then put the trapdoors back up, and then come down below on the next platform and do the same thing. So for this side, because this side only has like I think 4 going up, that works pretty well, and it's kind of safe. But as we're in the middle here, this one, like these 2 that I would want to modify, these are actually like 7 layers of spawning platforms. And the problem with that is that if I knocked all of this stuff out, by the time that I got down to the bottom here, maybe around this, you know, like the second one, I could have mobs falling on my head. And the last thing that I would want to happen is that I am trying to modify this thing and a creeper comes and blows a big hole in the whole thing. So that means that either I light this whole stupid thing up again, which I certainly don't want to do, or I call in some reinforcements. And option B sounds a whole lot nicer to me, because I actually did go around and like poke some holes in the ceiling to see like how many holes I would need to actually light it up to keep things from spawning. Anyway, it's just, it would take too many holes, and even with the sunlight it wouldn't make it all the way down to the bottom to keep things from spawning. So what I am going to do is I'm going to recruit my brother's help. And I've already asked him. I haven't really told him what all it involves. I just told him that I wanted to fix my dark room and I need his help for it. And he said okay, so next time he comes over we are just going to grind this out. So what that means is I will not be recording this process, because for one thing I would open your eyes. Open your eyes. Okay, thank you. Okay, so for one thing, I would have to record on a split screen, which doesn't really make for good recording. For another thing, that I have no way to record my brother's voice. So it would be kind of stupid to first off be split screen recording, and second off be even dumber to be split screen recording with someone that you cannot hear. So I am going to wait for my brother's arrival, and I will go over the plans with him, and I will find out, you know, what he thinks too. My brother and I have a very, very different play style, where I am mostly survival, he is mostly creative, but overall I think it should be a pretty fun project for the 2 of us to work on together, and hopefully everything will go okay and we won't have any creeper explosions. And then I also have to see, like I said, I really have to make the decision on whether I want to downscale it or not, because that's going to make a big difference on how we go about modifying it. And I am really looking forward to having my brother's input on that and what he thinks I should do. So there's the basic idea of it. Just something pretty plain and simple. And then I'm just gonna string chains and end rods down. But before I take it all the way to the end, I definitely want to chop down a tree and make sure that this placement is not going to keep this tree from growing. So let me get rid of this. Oh, and while we're on the topic, I did realize that with our spruce, when they grow next to the ground, are going to destroy our leaf litter. So for our spruce trees, I'm just gonna have to live with the frog light being uncovered on that one. Okay, so I got it cut down, and so now all we have to do is wait for the new one to hopefully grow up. The good news is since I chopped all those mushrooms, man, we have a ton of bone meal now. So let me just go grab that. It'll save us some time. Yep, look at all that beautiful bone meal. Okay, please grow. All right, good. So that's fantastic. So I planned it out right that we can put our lights in between here and our trees will still grow. So very happy about that. So then of course with our shorter trees, we won't have to go quite as tall. So probably just the up to this second copper bulb will be just fine. And I think that that should light up the top of our trees, you know, nicely, and that way they don't look so dark and gloomy. And the best news is that I'll no longer be blind when I'm halfway up a spruce tree. So let me get busy and put the rest of these in, and then we'll take a look at it. Okay, so I managed to get all the lights in, and even though I can't say that I love them aesthetically, at least they're doing the function that I would like them to do. So happy to get all of that done. My only kind of small problem is I noticed with the Sakura that I probably should have gave it an 8 block birth where I only gave it 7. And the problem with that is I test cut down this tree and regrew it, and I'm just getting this little bitty one. So I decided to try something else. So I did a small test to see how our cherry trees would grow if I just put them all in a line. And it seems like we'll get more trees out of this if I do it this way as opposed to just spanning them out so far. And I don't think that we'll get this size of tree if I do this over there. But even still, if we can get more trees growing in a line, even if they're smaller, we might just end up with more wood anyway. So I am going to modify that section a little bit. I'm going to cut down the trees that are already growing, and we're going to put them all in a line to see how they grow, if they will grow. So let me go get some dirt and we'll make a line and just plant a row and see how it goes. So after about 10 minutes of waiting, I've gotten these trees to grow. So I think that we're good with our setup, which makes me really, really happy because I didn't really want to try to move this stuff around again. So I am going to go ahead and clean all this up and get the barriers in and make it look all nice. Alright, so I got all of that put in. And I think that we are good to go for now. So I think it's really cool that sometimes you run into problems in Minecraft and the solution makes things even better than what you had originally planned. Because before I ran into that problem, I only had 3 Sakura trees growing. And now I have how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 growing. So fantastic for us. And I didn't even have to reposition these. So you can see where they are growing out, still 8 blocks, but it's nice that they can grow around the lights. And that's really a good thing. So even when they do grow more on the narrow side, the lights don't quite hit it so much, but I'm okay with that because when they do grow wide, you can see that they're lighted and they do look a lot happier than they did before. All of the trees do. So they don't have that dark and gloomy top to them anymore. And I am really happy about that. I do suppose my favorite alignment of these lights is around the spruce. Like, that makes me happy when I look at it. And I am really glad to have all of this completed so that I can move on from this area for a little bit and on to other things. Of course, it's not 100% completed because I still have to figure out what I want to do with this area right here. I have a couple of simple ideas, but I kind of find that if I spend too much time in one area, then I start to go a little bit crazy. And I am really looking forward to my brother coming over so that we can sort out my dark room and get it fixed, hopefully. So until next time, I'd like to thank you guys for stopping by and thanks for hanging out with me. And I will see you in the next episode. Bye bye.